I recently watched a movie on Netflix called Catfished, and there's a subtitle to it, but I don't recall how the subtitle reads. Catfish is a documentary about a young girl in high school, or I think it maybe starts, maybe the saga begins maybe when she's still in middle school. I don't know, but she at first meets a boy, and they have a sweet boyfriend girlfriend relationship, a childhood an adolescent romance that seems perfectly innocent, and then at some point the girl starts getting all of these messages, all of these text messages from someone unknown, someone that cannot be tracked. She's not sure who it is, but they come in at increasing, just at a steadily increasing basis, or on a steadily increasing basis, until she's getting like several a day, and they're all incredibly mean, incredibly cruel. And they make fun of her physical appearance. They say that her boyfriend doesn't really like her, that he's being unfaithful, he's with another girl, that he's going to have sex with another girl, and that she should just kill herself, and worse. I mean, as bad as what I've said is, it gets worse and worse, these messages. And I think, she probably, then you would wonder why not just block this person. She tried, but whoever it was found a way to contact her in some other manner that eluded detection, and it just went on and on for months, and it seriously messed this poor girl up. It led to her and her boyfriend breaking up because the stress was on their young relationship was just too much, and eventually they called in the police. The police didn't really know, or the police, the school authorities, they couldn't find this mysterious texter, and then they eventually brought in, and then they brought in certain girls who they thought might be guilty of it, because the person talked as if she were one of her classmates. There's at one point there was her basketball team was playing, and the girl said, the texter told this girl, how terrible she played, and that she didn't score that many points, and she could do nothing right, and whatever. It was just as mean, as low, as appalling as you can get, and it became this whole big thing. And there were all these possible suspects, but they were all eventually cleared. And at some point, the FBI was brought in. Now, I'm not usually a fan of the FBI. I've got my problems with the three-letter agencies, the alphabet agencies, but that's not really the story here with this in this particular case. So just try to just put that aside for now. The FBI is corrupt and evil, but in this case, that's not the main part of this story. So the FBI agents on the case, they had some technical people really start to go through her phone and look at different things. I have no idea to talk about this stuff. I'm a technological dummy. I don't know. I can't remember. It was explained in the documentary what they did, but it was unclear exactly how they did it. And of course, the girl's parents had been talking to the the authorities for some time. The boy's parents had been talking to the authorities for some time because her boyfriend's parents were had grown to love her too, and they were close to her, and they wanted to get to the bottom of all of this because it had proved so injurious on so many levels. And when they found out the truth, it was shocking. It was truly shocking. And I'm going to tell you now the big twist. If you I mean, this is a true story, so I don't know if you want to, if this spoiler, if spoilers are something you can that apply to a true story. But if you don't want to hear, if you want to just watch the video, then if you want to watch the documentary and find out that way, then turn off this video right now and just watch the documentary. But what they found out was that it was her mother. It was the girl's mother all along who was sending her these horrible messages, these terrible, awful, disgusting, insulting, degrading, humiliating messages, including things like, kill yourself, and telling her ways that she should kill herself. And, and talking about how, her boyfriend was cute, and, was too cute for her, and she was ugly, and all of these things that it's practically unimaginable to think of any parent, much less any mother, talking to her daughter in that kind of way. And it was shocking. But then when I thought about it, this is an example of what I've been speaking about before, and what I've been writing about lately. This is the dark feminine. I mean, the really dark feminine. This is the kind of and I don't know if it's fair to blame this case on current trends, because I don't know if this woman, this creature, this awful person that was her mother, who was doing this to her. I don't know what messed her up. I don't know if she was if I don't know if we can blame the culture for her behavior. But we do live in a time, as I've said before, that invites, that wants to bring forth the dark feminine, because we live in a time when everything that girls do, girls are told they're wonderful no matter what, that they're beautiful just the way they are. Boys are told to shape up, that they better not be sexist, and they better not, they better not ever, touch a woman inappropriately, in a way that, she considers to be inappropriate, because then that means they're terrible people and they ought to be guilty and ashamed of themselves. And they're basically taught that there's something wrong with them because they're male. And that's the way the culture is right now. And that's not, I don't think it's accidental. I think it's been a purposeful thing. But I don't need to go into all that right now. I go into that elsewhere. Why the culture has gone in this particular direction, especially in the last 35 years, especially, with more and more depravity leaking in, culturally speaking, until we've got what we've got right now in the mid-2020s, which is just, it's hard to imagine. This is like if the Weimar Republic was bad. My gosh, the age we're living in, Weimarica makes the Weimar Republic look wholesome by comparison. It really, really does. And that's not to say the Weimar Republic was wholesome, because it definitely wasn't. It's to say that the age we're living in is really, really, really depraved and degenerate. So, anyway, that's all. That's a separate subject in a way, because I don't know. I'm admitting I'm not sure what it was that got this woman to behave this way towards her own daughter. And the documentary doesn't really explain, doesn't really tell us how she got, or give any clues about how she got to be this way. It suggested that she had a crush on her boyfriend, and that she was jealous of her. Obviously, that played some role in it. But this is the dark feminine. This is what we get when we indulge girls to the extent that we have. Again, maybe not this particular case. Maybe this woman would have been this way even if we lived in a healthier culture. Maybe she still would have done this, behaved in this shockingly terrible way towards her own flesh and blood, her own daughter. But it really does boggle the mind. It's something I have a really hard time understanding. I can understand a lot of things. I can understand getting annoyed with your kids. I can understand, I can understand being neglectful because, sometimes you just want to break, and maybe taking that too far. I can understand. It's not that I'm automatically judgmental of, parents who are less than perfect. I'm a parent, and I'm well aware that I've been less than perfect in many, many ways. But this is something that every single one of us imperfect parents, recoil from, because we're not we're not psychopaths. We're not evil. And the way this woman behaved was just evil. But it strikes me that this is not the kind of behavior that you'd see, generally speaking, from a father. Now, fathers are capable of great evil too. And, men and women are different, but there's a dark masculine, which of course we've heard all about lately. We've heard that basically any kind of masculinity is toxic, and that's a damnable lie. But there is a side of masculinity that is, there's a dark form of masculinity. There's a way of that. There's a form that evil takes that is especially masculine, and there's a form of that evil takes that is particularly feminine. And in this case, being able to, for years, be motivated enough to do this kind of damage to your own daughter, and be sneaky about it, and not give yourself away, as Hamlet says, smile and be a villain. She was, to all appearances, she was a good mom. None of the family knew this side of her. But they did find out after everything was discovered that the job she'd actually been fired from her job several years before, and wasn't working. And when she went away for the day, she pretended to go to her job, but so she was, keeping some things hidden from the rest of the family. But this particular kind of evil, as difficult as it is to fathom, it's particularly feminine in its evilness, in the form that it takes. That's not saying that women are more inclined to be evil than men are, but it's saying when women are evil, it more often takes the form that it took in this case. Although in this case, it's so shocking, it's so dreadful that even our appalling and degenerate age still somehow finds it in ourselves to condemn this woman rightfully. But a father wouldn't be evil in this way, in this sneaky kind of way. It's just not as it's not the, doesn't play to the strengths of the masculine. But a woman is better at deceiving. She's better at showing one face in one place and showing a different, and being a totally different way. She's better at manipulating. Men are stronger, have more capacity to do things both good and bad with just sheer force. Women have more of a chance or more of an inclination when they want to do bad things to be psychologically manipulative. And so in a way, it's not surprising that this happened. In a way, it's not surprising that it was a woman who behaved in this way. What is surprising is that it was her own mother. You could almost see it if it was somebody else's mother who was jealous of her, who maybe hated her because acting out of protection or perceived protection of their own daughter, that they felt some kind of rivalry with. That kind of underhanded stuff, that kind of passive aggressive stuff is something that you often find in the dark feminine. But this of course takes it way beyond all of that. Anyway, have you seen this Catfished documentary, and what are your thoughts? Let me know.